The second Rachel's lips touched mine, the world shattered. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't soft. It was messy and wild and impulsive, like her. One second we were laughing on the floor of her bedroom, half drunk from cheap vodka and childhood memories, and the next, I felt her hand on my jaw, pulling me into a kiss I never saw coming. A kiss from Rachel. My best friend. My straight best friend. My straight best friend, who had just broken up with her boyfriend, who had cried on my shoulder not 2 hours ago about how men never understood her, how no one ever really got her. A kiss that tasted like confusion, like recklessness, like something neither of us could take back. When she pulled away, her eyes were wide, breathing heavy, as if she couldn't believe what she'd just done. And neither could I. Say something, she whispered, voice shaking, fingers still tangled in my hair. My heart slammed against my ribs, so hard it hurt. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. What was I supposed to say? That I'd been in love with her since I was 16? That I'd imagined this moment in 1,000 different ways, but never like this. Never with her crying and drunk and vulnerable? That I didn't want to be some drunken experiment she'd regret in the morning? I stood up too fast, knocking over the bottle between us. The sharp scent of vodka filled the room. I can't, I said, the words slicing through the silence. You don't mean that. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. Her cheeks flushed, not from alcohol, but something deeper. I do, she insisted, getting up too. I've been so scared to tell you, but I think I've been in love with you for years and I didn't realize it until tonight. Her words didn't feel real. Rachel was the girl who dated boys, the one who talked to me about her crushes, who used to set me up with her friends. The one who once told me, very clearly, that she wasn't into girls. The air between us thickened. I could feel it pressing in on me, on us, this invisible weight of what couldn't be undone. You're drunk, I snapped. Hey, if you're enjoying this story, go ahead and drop a like to help us grow even more. And let me know in the comments, on a scale from 0 to 10, what score would you give this story so far? Your feedback makes all the difference. This is just, you're heartbroken and confused, and I'm your safe place and you're projecting or something. I'm not confused. Her voice cracked. I'm terrified. There's a difference. I had to get out. If I stayed, I'd fall apart. So I grabbed my jacket and left her standing there, mascara smudged, lip gloss still on my mouth. I didn't stop walking until I reached my apartment 5 blocks away. I didn't sleep. Not really. Just stared at the ceiling and replayed the kiss over and over, the way her fingers trembled against my skin, the way her mouth tasted like cherries and fire, and every dream I'd tried to forget. The next day, she didn't text. Neither did I. The silence stretched between us like a tightrope I was too afraid to walk. On Monday morning, I found Rachel sitting on the steps of my building at 7:43 a.m., clutching 2 coffees and looking like she hadn't slept either.
We need to talk, she said.
I froze. She stood and handed me one of the cups. Black coffee. The way I liked it. I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen, she continued. Because it did. And maybe it was messy and maybe it was the worst possible timing, but it was real. I stared at her. At the girl I thought I knew inside and out. Her eyes were glassy, rimmed with red. I don't know what this means, she said softly. But I know I don't want to lose you. And for the first time, I realized something terrifying. I didn't want to lose her either. But I also didn't know how to believe her. She'd always been straight. And I had learned, the hard way, that hoping for something more with girls like Rachel always ended in heartbreak. You don't get to kiss me, and then just decide you love me now, I whispered. It doesn't work like that. She looked like I'd broken her. Then tell me what I have to do. Tell me what to say. Because I'm not walking away from this. I wished I could believe her. I wished this wasn't just a detour from her usual type, some chaotic spiral that ended with her back in a boy's arms and me in ruins. But her eyes, they looked so damn honest. And that terrified me more than anything. I didn't take the coffee. I couldn't. If I reached for it, I'd have to touch her fingers, and if I touched her, I'd fall apart. Rachel just stood there, holding both cups, looking at me like she was trying not to cry. I hated how much I wanted to comfort her. I hated how she could destroy me with a look and not even realize it. Rachel, I said slowly, forcing the air into my lungs. You can't just show up here and say those things. Not after everything. What things? She asked, her voice quieter now. That I'm sorry I kissed you? Because I'm not. That I love you? Because I do. I blinked. Don't. Why not? She challenged, stepping closer. Because I'm not supposed to? Because it doesn't make sense? Because I've never said it before? Because it sounds like something you'll regret the second you sober up emotionally, I snapped. You just broke up with Logan. You're a mess. So, what if I'm a mess? She asked. That doesn't mean my feelings aren't real. You told me you weren't into girls. I told myself that, she corrected. I told you that because I believed it. I thought it was true.
She paused.
But when I kissed you, Alex, nothing has ever felt more true than that. I hated her for saying things I wanted to hear. I hated that part of me wanted to believe her so badly it hurt. This isn't fair, I whispered. You don't get to just flip a switch and decide you love me. Do you still think I'm straight? She asked, eyes locked on mine. After last night? I didn't answer. I don't know what I am, she admitted. But I know what I want. And then she did it again. She closed the distance between us and kissed me. This time it was slower.
Softer.
Her lips trembled against mine, but she didn't pull back. I did. I shoved her away, like her touch burned. Stop it, I said, my voice sharp. You don't get to keep doing this. You don't get to kiss me every time you're scared. Her face twisted. That's not what I'm doing. Then what is this? I asked, motioning between us. What the hell do you think is happening here? I think I'm in love with my best friend, she said. And I think I've been too scared to say it for a long time.
I didn't know what to say,
so I said nothing. Rachel looked down, her fingers tightening around the coffee cups. I get it, she murmured. You don't believe me. You don't trust me. Maybe you shouldn't. That's not it. Then what is it, Alex? Why do you keep pushing me away? Because I've spent years burying how I feel about you, I said. Because I thought I was protecting myself. Because I never thought this would be real. It is real. It doesn't feel real. It feels like a dream. And dreams always end. We stared at each other, breathing unevenly. Then she did something unexpected. She handed me one of the coffees and turned around. I'll see you at school. What? You're not ready to talk, she said without looking back. And I won't push you. But I meant what I said. I'm not pretending it didn't happen. And then she left. I stood there on the sidewalk, holding the coffee she got me, still warm in my hands, wondering how everything had changed in less than 24 hours. I avoided her the entire day. At school, I dodged every hallway where I might see her. I skipped lunch. I pretended to be busy. I thought I was being smart. But when I walked into physics and saw her sitting in our usual seat, looking down at her notebook like nothing had happened, my stomach twisted. She looked up. Our eyes met. She smiled, soft, unsure. I sat next to her without saying a word. Mr. Callahan started his lecture. Rachel passed me a note. Are we okay? I stared at the words. Wrote back no. She read it, bit her lip, then scribbled something. Can we not be okay together? I almost laughed. Almost cried. I didn't respond. But I didn't throw the note away either. That night, I couldn't take it anymore. I called her. Hey, she said, voice breathless like she'd run to answer. I don't know what this is, I said. I don't know what you want. I want you, she said. I want to try. I want to figure it out with you. You're not gay. Maybe I'm not, she said. Maybe I'm just in love with you. My breath caught. You don't get to say that so easily. It's not easy, she snapped. It's terrifying. I've been crying for days, Alex. I've lost sleep. I've questioned everything. But I keep coming back to you. That has to mean something. It means everything, I whispered. And in that moment, I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe this wasn't just a phase or a fallout from Logan or a mistake she'd fix in a week. Come over, she said. Please. I just want to talk. I hesitated. Rachel, no kissing. No touching. Just talk. And because I was weak, because I was in love, because I could not, I went. I walked into her room an hour later and saw her sitting on the floor where it all started. She looked up. I don't know who I am without you, she said. And I don't want to find out. I sat beside her, cross-legged. She reached for my hand. I didn't stop her. I don't know what this is going to be, she said. But I want it to be something. I looked at her, at Rachel, at the girl I'd dreamed about, cried over, loved in silence. And maybe I was stupid. Maybe I was asking for heartbreak. But I squeezed her hand and said, okay. And her smile, God, her smile was everything. The silence between us wasn't awkward. It was heavy, alive. I could feel her thumb tracing slow circles over the back of my hand, and each movement sent a ripple through my chest like a wave crashing over a secret I'd kept too long. We didn't speak for a while. We just sat there, fingers intertwined, breathing the same air and pretending we weren't both terrified of what this meant. Finally, Rachel broke the silence. Do you remember when we were 17 and we got drunk at Sarah's house and I dared you to kiss me?
My heart jumped.
Of course I remembered. I remembered every second. You laughed so hard, she said, eyes distant. And then you kissed me anyway. Just for the dare. Just for the joke. Yeah, I said quietly. It wasn't a joke for me. She looked at me, and something inside her shattered a little. I think it wasn't a joke for me either. I just didn't realize it. That was the thing about Rachel. She always said what she felt too late. I exhaled, my voice shaking. I can't go through this if it's not real. It's real, she said. It's just new. Not for me. My words hit her like a slap. Her grip tightened slightly, like she was afraid I'd pull away. You've always been everything, Rachel. You just never saw it. She opened her mouth, then closed it. I was so scared of ruining us, she whispered. I thought if I let myself feel anything more, I'd lose you. And now I think I might lose you anyway. I turned toward her. You kissed me. You told me you loved me. That changes everything. It doesn't have to, but it does. She pulled her hand back, slowly. I want to do this right, she said. I don't want you to feel like you're just something I'm trying on. Then don't make me feel like that. I won't. Her voice was soft, trembling. But I need time to figure out who I am in this. Is that okay? My chest tightened. Of course it wasn't okay. But I nodded anyway. As long as you're honest with me. No games. No games, she repeated. I swear. We both knew it wouldn't be that simple. The next few days were strange. Not bad. Just strange. We kept things quiet.
Secret.
At school, we were still just Alex and Rachel. Inseparable, familiar, safe. But in the in-between moments, when our shoulders brushed in the hallway, when she looked at me too long during lunch, when our fingers touched under the table during study group, there was something else. Something electric. Something forbidden. One night, she texted me, I can't stop thinking about your lips. I stared at my phone for a full minute, my heart in my throat, before replying, You kiss me first, remember? And I'll do it again if you let me.
I didn't sleep that night.
I stared at my ceiling, replaying every touch, every look. I was spiraling. And I knew it, but I couldn't stop. Because Rachel was more than a crush. More than a friend. She was the place I felt most like myself, and the place I was most afraid of losing. A week passed. Then 2. We didn't define what we were, but we kept slipping. Closer.
Deeper.
One night, we were alone in her car after a movie, parked outside my building. The windows fogged slightly from our breath. I was talking about the film when she leaned in and kissed me again. No warning. No words. Just heat and hunger and years of silence breaking. I kissed her back. I didn't think. I just felt. When she finally pulled away, her lips were swollen, her eyes soft. I missed that, she whispered. We saw each other this morning. Doesn't matter, she smiled. Still missed it. I reached for her hand, and she let me hold it. We're going to crash hard if this ends, I said. Then let's not let it end. That's not how life works, Rachel. Maybe not, but I'm trying. The first real crack came on a Friday. Logan, her ex, showed up at school. He wasn't supposed to be there. He'd graduated. But there he was, standing by her locker like he owned it. I saw her tense before I even reached her. What's he doing here? I asked. He wants to talk. Do you? She hesitated. I don't know. I hated how those 3 words made my stomach drop. Alex, she said quickly, reading my face. I'm not going back to him. Then why do you look like you might? Because I spent 2 years thinking I loved him. That doesn't just disappear overnight. You told me you loved me. I do. But you still want to talk to him. Because I want to be sure I'm doing this for the right reasons.
Wow.
I stepped back. That's reassuring. Don't do that, she said, voice sharp. Don't make this black and white. I'm trying to be honest. Try harder. And then I walked away before she could follow. I didn't cry until I got home. And when I did, it felt like drowning. I didn't text her that night. Or the next morning. I ignored her calls, skipped our usual walk to school, avoided every corner where I might see her face. Because I couldn't stand the look she'd given me. Like she was sorry, but not sorry enough. I told myself I was being dramatic. That I didn't have the right to act like her girlfriend when we'd never said the word. But my heart didn't care about labels. My heart had always belonged to Rachel, even when she didn't want it. So when I finally checked my phone and saw 13 missed calls and 9 messages, I almost threw it across the room. Rachel, I didn't talk to him.
I swear.
Rachel, I wanted to. But I couldn't. Rachel, because every time I looked at him, all I saw was your face when you walked away. Rachel, please don't shut me out. Rachel, I miss you. Rachel, I love you. I hated her. I hated that she could say that so easily now. I hated how badly I wanted to believe her. I didn't respond.
Not that day.
Not that night. I needed space. I needed to breathe without her name burning my lungs. But space didn't fix anything. It just made the ache louder. On Sunday, I found her on my porch again. This time, no coffee. No excuses. Just her, standing in the rain, soaked and shivering and stupidly beautiful. Alex, she said, hugging her arms. Please let me explain. I didn't move. You shouldn't be here. I know, but I couldn't stay away. Why not? You're confused, remember? Her jaw clenched. I'm not confused. I'm scared. And I thought maybe talking to Logan would give me closure. But I couldn't do it. Because I realized I don't need closure from him. I need a beginning with you. You said you loved me, I said. And then you hesitated. Because love is terrifying. Tell me about it. She stepped closer. Alex, I'm not perfect. I don't have this figured out. I'm not even sure who I am right now. But I know who I want to figure it out with. I wanted to run. I wanted to throw myself into her arms. I wanted to scream. I did none of those things. You broke me, I whispered. Not on purpose. But still. You broke me. Then let me fix it. What if you break me again? Then I'll stay and help you put the pieces back together. I looked at her, really looked. She wasn't wearing makeup. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her hair was plastered to her cheeks. And still, she was the most painfully beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Come inside, I said. She blinked. What? Come inside, Rachel. You're going to get sick. We sat on my bedroom floor, wrapped in blankets, her fingers brushing mine every few seconds like she wasn't sure if she was allowed to touch me. I didn't stop her. Do you remember when we were 13 and I got my first period at your house? She said. I laughed despite myself. You cried harder than I did. I thought you were dying. You made me wear your favorite shorts and gave me a whole sleeve of Oreos. You were so embarrassed. I just wanted to make you laugh. She smiled, eyes soft. You always made me feel safe. That's never changed. I swallowed hard. That's why this is so hard. Because I don't know how to feel safe with you anymore. Then let me earn it back.
How?
Be with me, she said. Let me show you that this isn't a phase, that I'm not going anywhere.
You say that now.
But what happens when it gets hard? When people talk? When you start to miss being with a guy? Then I remind myself that nothing I ever had with a guy felt half as real as holding your hand. My breath caught. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to fall into this thing with her and never look back. But I also wanted to protect myself. I'm scared. Me too. I don't know how to do this. Then we figured out together. I looked at her, heart thundering. If we do this, it's real. No secrets. No pretending. No hiding, she promised. Not anymore. We'll have to tell people. Okay. Your parents. Okay. Logan. She hesitated. I already told him I was in love with someone else. And he asked who. I didn't answer. Why not? Because I wanted you to be the first person I said it out loud to. She reached for my hand, her grip warm and steady. I'm in love with you, Alex. And I'm done pretending I'm not. I broke. I leaned forward and kissed her, slow, deep, aching. This time, I didn't pull away. And neither did she. The kiss should have made everything better. It didn't. It made everything real. Real in a way that was both exhilarating and terrifying. For a moment, in the dim glow of my bedroom, with her hands on my waist and her breath warming my skin, it felt like nothing could touch us. No expectations, no labels, no history. Just her and me and this impossible, perfect thing between us. But morning always comes. And morning has no patience for fairy tales. Rachel fell asleep beside me, tangled in my sheets, her head resting on my shoulder. I didn't sleep. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe, wondering how long this peace could last before the world ripped it apart. When she woke, it was with a lazy smile and a kiss to my collarbone. Hi, she whispered. Hi, I said, heart pounding. Did we really do this? We did. Do you regret it? She asked it so softly, like she was afraid of the answer. I shook my head.
No. Do you?
She hesitated, just for a second, but it was enough. I pulled back. That was a long pause. Alex, you do regret it. I don't. But you're scared, I said. And you're still not sure how to be with me when people are watching. She sighed. It's not that simple. It is for me. Because you've had years to think about this, she said. I haven't. I'm still figuring myself out. I sat up, the blanket falling from my shoulders. I can't be your secret, Rachel. Not anymore. I'm not asking you to be. Then what are you asking? She looked down. Just time. We don't have time. School ends in 2 months. You're going to college 3 states away. What are we even doing? We're trying, she said. We're trying to make it real. It is real, I whispered. That's the problem. She reached for me, but I stood before she could touch me. I need a minute, I said. She nodded, pulling the blanket tighter around her chest as I left the room. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I was too numb. At school, everything felt different. People noticed the way we looked at each other. The silence between us wasn't neutral anymore. It was charged, heavy with meaning. One afternoon, in the library, Rachel brushed her hand against mine under the table. I froze. Relax, she whispered, smiling like it was nothing. Like we weren't risking everything.
I didn't smile back.
Afterward, she pulled me into an empty stairwell. Are you mad at me? No, liar. I just don't know what we're doing, I said. Are we together? Are we dating? Are we hiding? We're figuring it out. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. I stepped back. You told me you loved me. I do. Then why does it feel like I'm the only one willing to say it out loud? She flinched. Alex, we're not in your room anymore. We're not in the dark. This is the real world, and you're still pretending. I'm not pretending. Then tell someone. Tell anyone. I'm not ready, she said, voice breaking. You have to understand that. No, Rachel, I said. You have to understand that I've already been waiting for years. The first person I told was Claire. She'd known I was gay since sophomore year, but she'd never asked about Rachel. Not until I brought it up. We were sitting in her car, eating fries out of a greasy bag, when I said, I think I'm in love with Rachel. Claire didn't even blink. Took you long enough. I blinked. Wait, what? She laughed. Alex, you've been in love with her since freshman year. Everyone knows. I didn't know. Yes, you did. You just didn't want to admit it. I stared at the windshield. She kissed me. She said she loves me, but she doesn't want anyone to know. Claire was quiet for a moment. Are you okay with that? I shook my head.
No.
But I don't want to lose her. Then you need to decide what hurts more, being her secret or not being with her at all. That night, Rachel called me. Can we talk?
Sure, I said.
Can you come over? I hesitated. Will this be another figure-it-out conversation?
No, she said.
This one's different. I went. She was waiting outside, arms crossed, pacing. When she saw me, she stopped. I told my mom. I blinked. What? I told her, she repeated, that I'm in love with a girl. That it's you. I stared at her, stunned. What did she say? She cried, Rachel admitted.
She was shocked.
But she didn't hate me. She said she loved me no matter what. I felt tears in my eyes. You really told her? I'm done hiding, she said. I'm still scared, but I'm more scared of losing you. I stepped forward. Rachel, be with me, she said. Out loud, in the light. No more secrets. I kissed her, right there in front of her house. And this time, we didn't hide. The kiss in front of Rachel's house didn't change the world. It didn't stop traffic or cue the music or make anyone around us gasp in shock. No one was even watching. But it changed everything between us. For the first time, we weren't hiding. We weren't a maybe. We weren't a secret. We were something real, something tangible, something terrifyingly vulnerable. When we pulled away, Rachel smiled like she was proud of herself. Proud of us. Her fingers brushed my cheek. I've never done anything that scared me this much, she said. And I've never wanted anything more. I didn't answer. I just leaned into her touch and tried to memorize the way her skin felt against mine, because I knew the hardest part wasn't behind us. It was just beginning. The next morning at school, I expected things to be different. I expected whispers.
Stares.
Some kind of shift in the atmosphere. But nothing happened. We walked in together.
Sat together.
Ate lunch together. And no one said a word. Until they did. So, Claire said casually, sliding into the seat across from us. You two are officially a thing now. Rachel nearly choked on her soda. I glanced at her, then looked back at Claire.
Yeah.
We are. Claire grinned. Took long enough. Rachel blushed. You're okay with it? With you two being disgustingly in love? Obviously. Rachel looked relieved. But not everyone was Claire. That became clear by fifth period. As we left English, a girl named Jessa walked by and muttered just loud enough to hear. Figures. Another one turns gay the second her boyfriend dumps her. Rachel stopped cold. Her fingers slipped from mine. I turned toward Jessa, fury boiling up in my throat, but Rachel grabbed my wrist.
Don't, she said.
It's not worth it. It is to me. Not today. I stared at her. Why not? Because if I start yelling, I won't stop. Her voice cracked, and I saw it, the way it hit her.
The shame.
The fear. The sudden, brutal doubt. I wanted to hold her, but she stepped back. I need a second, she whispered, then disappeared into the girls' bathroom. I stood in the hallway, hands shaking, heart pounding, wondering how it was possible to feel so proud and so helpless at the same time. That night, she didn't answer my texts, didn't pick up my calls. I stared at my phone like it might come alive and fix everything. When she finally messaged me around midnight, it was just one line. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I didn't reply right away. I let her sit with it. Not to punish her, but because I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to push her, but I didn't want to go back to being invisible either. The next day, she came to school late. Her hair was in a messy bun, her eyes puffy, her hoodie 2 sizes too big. She looked like she hadn't slept. I found her leaning against her locker, arms crossed.
Hey, I said.
Hey, she echoed. Rough night. Something like that. I hesitated. You don't have to talk about it. I want to, she said. Just not here. I nodded. Come over after school?
Yeah.
Please. We lay on my bed, fully clothed, side by side, our shoulders touching. She stared at the ceiling. I thought telling the truth would make me feel free, she said. But it just made me feel like a target. People suck, I said. Not all of them, she added. Claire's amazing. And my mom, she's really trying. But I saw Logan yesterday. I froze. You didn't tell me that. I didn't know how. Did you talk?
No.
He saw me and just stared. Like he didn't recognize me. Like I was some stranger he used to know. Isn't that what he is now? She swallowed. I thought I'd feel powerful. Like I was finally choosing myself. But instead, I feel like I destroyed everything. You didn't destroy anything, I said firmly. You chose something real. That's brave. Then why do I feel like such a coward? I turned toward her. Because you care what people think. Because you're human. Because you're used to being the version of yourself that made everyone else comfortable. And now I'm not. And now you're being honest. That scares people. She looked at me, eyes wet. It scares me. I reached for her hand. Me too. But I'd rather be scared with you than safe without you. She smiled through the tears. I'm so in love with you, it's stupid.
Good, I said.
Because I'm not sure I could survive loving you alone. We kissed. Not rushed. Not desperate. Just soft and slow, with a kind of aching tenderness that said I see you, even when you don't want to be seen. And in that moment, I knew something for sure. We were going to face hell. But we were going to face it together. We were both 18. Adults, technically. Old enough to vote, to sign leases, to be trusted with futures we barely understood. But when it came to love, real, messy, vulnerable love, we were just 2 girls figuring out how to be brave. Rachel turned 18 in January. I turned 18 a few weeks after. We never made a big deal out of it. We had cake, we made dumb wishes, we hugged. But now, with everything happening between us, that number meant more than just legal milestones. It meant choices. Real ones. The kind you couldn't undo with a just kidding. And we were making those choices in the shadows of old friendships, small-town whispers, and a version of ourselves that didn't fit anymore. You okay? I asked her one afternoon as we sat on the bleachers after class. The sun hit her hair just right, lighting her up like something out of a dream. She was chewing the cap of her pen, staring into nothing. I should be, she said. We're finally doing this. We're together. I told my mom. You told Claire. And yet it still feels like the ground might disappear any second. Exactly. She looked at me. Do you think it's always like this? Love. I think real love always feels a little dangerous. Well, she muttered, then we must be doing something right. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I could feel the edge in her voice, the fear she was still trying to mask with sarcasm. Rachel was the kind of person who smiled through panic, who made jokes when her heart was breaking. And I was the kind of person who noticed. You haven't told your dad yet, have you? I asked gently. She stiffened. No, are you going to? Eventually. When? When I know it won't make me throw up. I reached for her hand. You don't have to do it alone. I know. That's the part that scares me. Why? Because I've never needed anyone before, she said. And now I don't know how to stop needing you. That weekend her father found out. Not because she told him. Because someone else did. We don't know who. We'll probably never know. All we know is that on Saturday night I got a call. Her voice was shaking. He knows. What? My dad. He knows about us.
How?
He said someone told him. He won't say who. But he said horrible things, Alex. I sat up in bed, adrenaline flooding me. Where are you? In my room. He won't even look at me. Do you want me to come over? No, she whispered. He told me not to leave. Not to see you. My throat burned. Rachel, he said I'm embarrassing him. That I'm confused. That I'm ruining my future. You're not ruining anything. He said if I don't snap out of it by graduation, he's not paying for college. My blood ran cold.
He can't do that. He can, she said.
And he will. I was silent for a long moment. Then, come here. I can't. Yes, you can. Alex, you're 18, I reminded her. You don't need permission to leave a house that doesn't feel safe. She didn't answer. But 37 minutes later, she knocked on my window. I helped her climb through like we were 16 again, sneaking out for concerts and milkshakes and stupid midnight dares. Only this time, she was crying. I'm sorry, she whispered as I pulled her into my arms. I'm so sorry. Don't apologize. He's never looked at me like that before. Like I'm nothing. I kissed the top of her head. He's wrong. What if he's not? He is. She buried her face in my neck. I'm scared, Alex. This is the first thing in my life I've ever really wanted. And I'm scared it's going to cost me everything. Then let it, I said. If it costs you everything that never really saw you, then maybe you didn't need it. But college, we'll figure it out. You don't know that. I don't, I admitted. But I know I'd rather lose everything with you than when alone. She pulled back and looked at me, really looked. You mean that? With everything I have. She kissed me like she believed it. Like maybe for the first time, she wasn't just kissing me because she needed comfort, but because she chose me. Not in secret. Not out of fear. But in defiance of everything trying to pull us apart. Rachel stayed the night. It wasn't planned. She didn't have clothes or a toothbrush or even her phone charger. But she had her heart in pieces and nowhere else to go. So I gave her my favorite hoodie, made her a grilled cheese at midnight, and held her until she finally stopped shaking. We didn't talk much. We didn't need to. Her silence said everything. How her world had cracked open. How the person who raised her had turned his back. How this love between us, beautiful and real as it was, had come at a price. When she finally fell asleep, I stayed awake, watching her. Every now and then, she'd flinch in her dreams. Whisper something I couldn't understand. I kissed her forehead and whispered back, "You're safe now." In the morning, my mom knocked on the door. She'd heard the window open. She always knew more than she let on. "Is she okay?" she asked softly. "Not really," I said. "But she's here." My mom didn't ask questions. She just nodded, went back to the kitchen, and left an extra plate on the table. That was her way of saying, "She's welcome." At school, the tension followed us like smoke. People knew. They didn't always say it out loud, but we could feel it. In the way their eyes lingered. In the whispers behind locker doors. In the sudden silence when we walked into a room. We held hands anyway. It wasn't about showing off. It was about surviving. About saying, "Yes, this is real," even when the world told us to be ashamed. Rachel was quieter than usual. Still herself, still quick with a joke, still brilliant in class, but different. Like something in her had hardened. "He hasn't called," she said one day as we sat outside during lunch. Not once. I didn't know what to say. I couldn't promise he would. I keep thinking I'll wake up and he'll come around. Realize he was wrong. But I don't think he's going to. I reached for her hand. That's his failure. Not yours. What if I can't afford college now? Then we'll find another way. You always say that. Because I mean it. She leaned her head on my shoulder. You make it sound easy. It's not. But you're not alone. That weekend she moved in. Not officially. Not with bags and boxes and contracts. Just emotionally. She started leaving a toothbrush in my bathroom. A pair of socks in my drawer. Her favorite hoodie on my chair. She spent more nights at my place than at her own. Her mom noticed. She's scared. Rachel told me one night, curled up beside me. She doesn't say it, but I can tell. She wants to support me, but she's afraid of losing him, too. You're not making her choose.
No.
He is. I kissed the inside of her wrist. She'll come around, and if she doesn't, then you'll still have me. Her eyes filled. Do you ever wish we weren't this? I stared at her. What do you mean? Just that we were easier, simpler, that loving you didn't feel like a war. My chest ached. I don't want easy. I want you. She kissed me hard then, desperate, hungry, aching, like she needed to feel something solid, something certain. I held her like I'd never let go. Monday morning, we walked into school hand in hand. And this time, people didn't just stare. They spoke. Damn, someone muttered behind us. Guess the rumors were true. Did she really dump Logan for a girl? Can't wait to see how her dad reacts. Oh wait, I stopped walking. Rachel squeezed my hand. Don't, she whispered. They're not worth it. But you are. I turned. Faced them. Say it to my face next time. Silence. Embarrassed glances. No one spoke. We walked away, and I could feel Rachel trembling. You didn't have to do that, she said. Yes, I did. It's just going to make things worse. Then let it. You're going to get hurt. I already was. For years. Quietly. Alone. I'm done with that. She stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. You're brave.
No.
I'm just tired of hiding. She kissed me in the middle of the hallway.
People saw.
I didn't care.
Neither did she.
That night, we lay in bed, bodies tangled, hearts still racing. What are we going to do after graduation? Rachel asked softly. I don't know. Do you think we'll stay together? I hope so. You think we can handle long distance? I think we can handle anything. She smiled against my collarbone. You really believe that? I have to.
She sighed.
Then I will too. We didn't say I love you that night. We didn't need to. The way she held me said it all. I used to think the hardest part of falling in love with Rachel would be hiding it. I was wrong. The hardest part is loving her when the world keeps trying to make her feel ashamed for it. Her dad still hadn't spoken to her. It had been 12 days. 12 long, aching days since he found out. Rachel kept pretending it didn't hurt. She made jokes. She laughed too loud. She kissed me like nothing could touch us. But at night, when we were alone and the world stopped watching, I could feel the weight of it pressing against her ribs. I dream about him, she said one night as we lay under my blanket, staring at the ceiling fan. Not memories, just dreams, where he talks to me like he used to, where he calls me sweetheart and asks about my math test. And then I wake up and remember he thinks I'm disgusting. You're not disgusting, I said, voice tight. He's just small. He raised me, she whispered. He taught me how to ride a bike. He made me grilled cheese every time I got sick. And now he won't even look at me because I love you. I didn't know how to fix that. I couldn't give her that version of him back. You're allowed to miss who he used to be, I said. Even if who he is now hurts you. It's like mourning someone who's still alive. She turned toward me, eyes red. Is that messed up? No, I said. It's human. She didn't cry. Rachel almost never cried. But she held on to me that night like she was afraid the world might take me away too. The next morning, her mom called. Rachel didn't answer, so she texted instead. He packed a suitcase. I don't know where he's going. Rachel stared at her phone for a full minute before speaking. What if this is my fault? It's not. What if I broke our family? You didn't break anything, I said. You just stopped pretending. She stood abruptly. I need to go home. Rachel. I have to. I need to see it for myself. Okay, I said. I'll come with you. No, her voice was sharp, but her hands were shaking. I need to do this alone. I watched her leave, heart in my throat. I spent the next 3 hours staring at the clock, checking my phone every 5 minutes, replaying every word she'd said that morning like it might tell me what she was walking into. When she finally came back, her eyes were swollen, her voice hoarse. He's gone. Where? She doesn't know. Said he didn't say. Just packed a bag and left. Did he say anything to you? He left a note. She held up a piece of folded paper, like it was something radioactive. I haven't opened it yet. Do you want me to stay? She nodded. We sat in silence for a long time before she unfolded the paper. Her eyes scanned the words. Then she handed it to me. It was short. I hope one day you understand what you've given up. I hope she's worth it. What does that even mean? Rachel asked. Given up what? A lie? It means he's scared, I said. And instead of growing, he ran. But what if he's right? He's not. How do you know? Because I love you, I said. And I know what we have isn't something to be ashamed of. Her face crumpled. Then why does it feel so heavy all the time? Because it matters. School became a blur after that. We did our best to focus, to smile, to keep showing up. But something had changed in Rachel. Not with me. She still kissed me like I was the only safe place she had. But the spark behind her eyes was dimmer. She was tired of fighting, of justifying, of pretending to be okay when she wasn't. I tried to carry the weight for both of us, but even I had limits. You don't have to be strong all the time, I told her one night. I'm not strong, she said. I'm just afraid of falling apart in front of everyone. Then fall apart with me. And if I break, then I'll stay with you until you're whole again. She kissed me, slow and silent. But I could taste the sadness in her mouth. The college acceptance letter came on a Thursday. University of Chicago. Her dream school. A full scholarship, thanks to her grades, her essays, her art portfolio. She didn't tell anyone but me. I should be happy, she said. You should be celebrating. I don't want to go. I blinked. What? I don't want to leave you. Rachel. What if we fall apart? What if we don't? You're not coming with me. I could apply late. You already made your choice. You're staying here for your mom.
For your job.
For community college. We always knew that. But I'm scared, Alex. I'm scared that if I go, we won't survive it. We can, I said, even though my heart was breaking. We just have to want it enough. She looked at me with eyes full of 1,000 goodbyes. Do we? The question cut deeper than anything her father had ever said, because it came from the one person I thought would never doubt us. We stopped talking about the future. Not because we didn't want one, but because it hurt too much to imagine it. Every time Rachel looked at me, I could see the question behind her eyes. How long do we really have? She didn't say it out loud. Neither did I. But the silence between us started to change. It wasn't peaceful anymore. It was tight, fragile. Like if we pushed too hard, it would crack. You're quiet, she said one night as we lay in my bed, the lamp casting soft shadows on the wall. So are you. I'm trying not to ruin this. This what? This moment, she said. This now. I turned to face her. Are you already packing? She blinked. What? In your head. Are you already gone? No, she said quickly. But it's coming. And I hate it. So do I. She reached for my hand. I don't know how to love you and leave you at the same time. Then don't, I whispered. Stay. Her eyes filled. You know I can't. And I did. But I hated it anyway. A week later, she told her mom about the scholarship. They cried together. Her mom promised to do whatever she could to help, even without her father's support. I want to be proud of her, she told me one afternoon while Rachel was in the shower. And I am. But I'm scared she's going to break her own heart trying to protect yours. I don't want her to choose me over her future. Are you sure? No, I admitted. But I know I couldn't live with myself if she did. Her mom nodded. That's how I know you love her. Rachel started painting again. Big, chaotic canvases full of color and pain and longing. She said it helped her breathe. I'd sit in the corner of her room, watching her drag reds and blacks and golds across the canvas, like she was trying to pour her insides onto the surface. What are you painting? I asked once. She didn't look up. Us. Is it a happy painting? It's an honest one. I stood and walked toward her, wrapping my arms around her waist from behind. Paint me something that doesn't feel like goodbye. She turned in my arms, then stopped looking at me like I'm already gone. I pressed my forehead to hers. I'm trying. Try harder. She kissed me like she was drowning, and maybe we both were. Prom came faster than we expected. Rachel hadn't planned on going. Neither had I. But something about the finality of it, all the girls in glittering dresses, all the couples holding hands like maybe the world wasn't about to change, made her want to go.
One night, she said.
Let's pretend there's no after. I rented a tux. She wore deep burgundy. Her dress clung to her like smoke and shadows and a memory I knew I'd never let go of. When I saw her at the top of the stairs, I forgot how to breathe. You look, I couldn't even finish the sentence. You too, she said. We didn't go with a group. We didn't take the cheesy photos with the gold backdrop. We just danced. Slow, close, her hands on my neck, my hands on her waist. I love you, she said, her voice lost in the music. More than I know how to say. Then don't say it, I whispered. Just stay in this moment with me. But moments don't last. Songs end. Lights come on. And the real world waits outside. After prom, we sat in her car, parked near the lake, watching the ripples in the dark water. I held her hand, thumb brushing over her skin like maybe if I memorized her enough, I wouldn't have to miss her later. Can I ask you something? She said. Always. What happens if we don't make it? Then we try again. And if trying isn't enough, then I'll still love you, even if it's from far away. She turned toward me. What if I meet someone else? The words hit like glass. Do you think you will? No, she said quickly. God, no. I don't want anyone else. But I'm scared. That college will change me. That time will make me forget what this feels like. Then promise me something. Anything. Promise you won't let go unless you're absolutely sure you have to. She nodded, eyes full. Promise me the same. I promise. We kissed in the dark. Not like it was goodbye, but like we were trying to write our names into each other's skin, so even if we forgot everything else, we'd still know where we belonged. The day she left, I didn't cry. Not in front of her. I smiled, helped her load the last bag into the back seat, kissed her like I believed in forever, and told her to text me the second she arrived. She smiled too, but it didn't reach her eyes. You okay? She asked, fingers lingering on mine. I will be. I lied. You. I don't know, she admitted, but I know I love you, and that has to be enough. I kissed her once more, softer this time, like it might be the last time. Then I watched her drive away. I stood on the sidewalk for 15 minutes after the car disappeared down the street, hoping she'd turn around. She didn't. The first week was unbearable. Everything reminded me of her. My bed felt too cold. My room too quiet. I'd reach for my phone at random moments just to see her name, hear her voice, feel less like I was unraveling. We texted constantly. Called every night. Sent pictures of our food, our classes, our faces half asleep and homesick. I miss you so much it physically hurts, she said on FaceTime, her dorm wall behind her still bare, her eyes red. Me too, I whispered. I thought the goodbye would be the worst part, but it's this. The after. We're still us, she said. We're still okay. And for a while, we were. But time stretches in strange ways when you're apart from the person you love. Calls got shorter. Texts got delayed. We started saying I'm tired more than I love you. And when we finally had time to talk, it was filled with long silences and questions we didn't know how to ask. Are you making friends? I'd say. Yeah, she'd answer. You? A few. Good. Yeah. I miss you. I miss you too. One night, she didn't call. No text. No voicemail. I stared at my phone until it died in my hand. The next morning, she finally messaged me. Sorry. Fell asleep early. Long day. Love you. I typed. I needed you last night. I deleted it. Typed. It's okay. I love you too. Sent. But it wasn't okay. And the space between us kept growing. When fall started to settle in, I mailed her a package. A hoodie she left behind. A print of one of her paintings I'd secretly copied. A letter. I almost didn't include the letter,
but I wrote it anyway.
It said, "I know you're busy. I know everything is changing, but I'm still here. I'm still yours. I just need to know if you're still mine." She didn't answer for 5 days. On the 6th, she called. Her voice sounded like smoke and static. "I got your package. Did you read the letter?" "I did." And she was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I don't know how to be the version of me that fits here and still fits with you."
The words gutted me.
What does that mean? It means I love you, but I'm scared I'm changing, and I don't know if I'm allowed to. "You're allowed to change," I said, "but that doesn't mean you have to let go." What if letting go is the only way I survive this place? I sat down hard on my bed. "Is that what you want?" "No," she said quickly, "but I don't want to become someone you don't recognize." "I won't stop recognizing you," I whispered. "Not ever." She started crying. I could hear it through the line. And I broke too. "Rachel, I don't want to lose you," she said. "Then don't." "I'm trying." "Try harder." I don't know how. After that call, everything felt different. Not broken. Just off. We still said "I love you." Still sent pictures. But something was slipping. Something we couldn't name. Some nights she wouldn't answer. Some days I wouldn't reach out first. It wasn't anyone's fault. But it was happening. One night, 2 months into the semester, I called her. "Hey," she said. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. I paused. "I need to ask you something." "Okay. Are we still us?" Silence. Then, "I think so." "You think?" "I don't know how to do this, Alex. I'm scared. Everything here is new and hard and exhausting. And I feel like I'm failing you. You're not. But I feel like I am. So what do we do?" "I don't know." I closed my eyes. "Do you still love me?" "Yes," she said instantly. "More than anything. But I'm not the same girl who left that driveway. And I'm not the same girl who watched you go. So maybe we need to figure out who we are now," she said. "And then come back to each other when we're ready." "Is this a breakup?" "No," she whispered. "It's a pause." "That's worse." "I know. Will you come back?" "I hope so." And then the line went silent. And I sat in the dark, holding a phone that no longer rang. The hardest part wasn't waking up alone. It was remembering that I wasn't waiting for a good morning text anymore. That the phone wouldn't buzz with her voice. That silence had taken her place in my life.
"It's just a pause," she said.
That's what I kept telling myself. A pause. Not a goodbye. But silence has a way of turning into absence, and absence turns into forgetting, and soon I couldn't remember the sound of her laugh without hurting. It had been 3 weeks. 22 days without hearing her voice. I counted. I shouldn't have. But I did. Every day that passed without her felt like proof that I was losing her. Or maybe that I already had. Claire noticed. Of course she did. "You're disappearing," she said as we sat on her bed, surrounded by books we weren't reading. "I'm fine. You're not." I didn't respond. She sighed. "Do you want her back?" I never wanted her to leave. "Then why don't you call?" "Because I promised I'd let her figure herself out." "And what about you?" I looked at her, confused. "What about me?" "You're allowed to figure yourself out too, Alex. You're allowed to be angry, to feel abandoned." She didn't mean to hurt me, but she did. I didn't answer, because Claire was right. Rachel hadn't meant to hurt me, but she had. And every day I didn't say it out loud, it festered. I saw her Instagram post a few days later. A picture of her and a girl in a coffee shop, laughing. The caption read, "New city, new energy." I stared at it for 10 full minutes. The girl was probably just a friend.
Probably.
But that didn't stop the jealousy. The panic. The ache. I didn't like the version of me who felt that way. But I didn't know how to be anyone else. Not without her. That night, I wrote her a message. I didn't send it, but I wrote it. I miss you. I hate that I miss you. I hate that I don't know if I'm allowed to. I hate that I'm scared you're moving on without me. But most of all, I hate that I'd still drop everything to run to you if you asked. I read it 3 times. Then I deleted it. The next week, I started working longer shifts. I needed something to fill the time. Anything. I stopped painting. Stopped writing. I became someone who existed between routines, who smiled when expected and spoke when spoken to. But inside, I was shrinking. On Friday night, I stayed late at the cafe, closing with the manager. Just as I was wiping down the counter, the bell over the door rang. Sorry, we're closed, I said automatically. I know. I froze. That voice. I turned around, and there she was, Rachel, standing in front of me, windblown, wide-eyed, holding her phone like she'd just stopped in the middle of a text. What are you? I couldn't do it anymore, she said. I couldn't keep pretending I was okay without you. I just stared. My heart was pounding. My hands were trembling. I didn't know if I should come, she said. I didn't even tell my mom I was leaving. I got in the car and started driving. I didn't think. God, I missed you. You said you needed space. I thought I did, she said. But all I found was a version of me that felt hollow. I swallowed hard. You're still the one who asked for the pause. I know, she said. And I hate that I did. I hate that I let fear win. You said you didn't know if you fit with me anymore. I didn't know who I was becoming, she said. But every time I changed, every time I grew, I kept wishing you were there to see it. You hurt me, Rachel. I know, she whispered. And I'm so sorry. You didn't call. You didn't text. Because I was afraid you'd tell me not to. I blinked. You really thought I'd say that? I thought I deserved it. Silence. Then, softly. Did you meet someone? No. Are you sure?
Yes.
There's only been you. My chest cracked open. Do you want this again? I asked. Even after everything? I want you, she said. Not just the memory of you. Not just the version of you I left behind. I want who you are now. Even if we're different. Even if we have to start over. And what if we break again? Then we try again. And again.
And again.
Until it doesn't break anymore. You can't promise that. I know, she said. But I can promise I'm done running. I stared at her. At the girl who'd once made me feel like the center of the universe, and then like an echo. I never stopped loving you, I whispered. I know, she said. That's why I came back. I stepped forward, slowly, testing the air between us. When I finally touched her, it felt like breathing again after months underwater. She leaned into me. We didn't kiss. Not yet. We just held each other. And this time, no one let go. We didn't talk much that night. Not because there wasn't anything to say, but because everything we needed was in the way our arms wrapped around each other, the way our foreheads touched, the way our breathing synced like a language we hadn't forgotten. Rachel slept in my bed, fully clothed, her face pressed into my neck, like she was afraid I might vanish if she let go. And I held her like I'd been waiting to wake up from a nightmare. Are you okay? I whispered once. I don't know, she murmured. But I'm here. And that has to count for something. It did. In the morning, she looked different.
Softer.
Tired. Like someone who had been carrying herself for too long and finally allowed herself to set the weight down. She sat at the kitchen table in one of my oversized hoodies, legs crossed under her, sipping coffee like she belonged there. And maybe she did. My mom doesn't know I left campus, she said. I'll call her later. Let her know I'm safe. You think she'll be mad? Probably. But I don't think she'll be surprised. Do you need to go back soon? She looked up at me. Do you want me to? The answer sat heavy in my chest. No, I said. But I don't want to be the reason you abandon your life again. You're not. Rachel, I didn't drive here to run away, she said. I drove here to remember who I was before everything got complicated. I sat across from her. And who are you now? Still figuring that out, she admitted. But I know I'm not done with you. I wanted to cry. Instead, I reached for her hand. Then let's start over. Start over? Not erase what happened. Just rebuild.
Slowly.
Intentionally. No pressure. No pretending. She nodded. That sounds like exactly what we need. We spent the weekend like we were relearning each other. The quiet kind of intimacy. The safety of shared silence. She helped me fold laundry. I helped her trim her split ends. We watched reruns of old shows, ate cereal on the floor, and kissed without expectation. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't fireworks. It was better, because it was real. On Sunday night, as we lay in bed with our legs tangled, she whispered, "I don't want to go back." "I know," I said, "but I think you have to." "Why?" "Because that life still matters. You worked hard for it, and if you leave it now, it'll always feel like you gave it up for me. And you don't want that? I want you to choose both, yourself and me, not one over the other." "How do I do that?" "We figured out. Together." She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "Will you come visit me?" "Whenever you want. Even if it's messy?" "Especially if it's messy." She smiled into my shoulder. "You're kind of amazing, you know." "I know." She laughed, soft and real. That laugh had been missing for months, and hearing it again felt like healing. Monday morning, she packed her bag. I drove her to the bus station. She kissed me goodbye at the curb, hands in my hair, mouth warm and certain.
"This isn't goodbye," she said.
"It's not even a pause. It's a continuation." "Of what?"
"Of us."
"Better, stronger, slower." "Okay." She leaned her forehead against mine. "You still scare the hell out of me."
"Good."
"Why good?" "Because love should scare you a little. Otherwise, it's not worth it." She laughed again. "You're getting good at this." I had a great teacher. The bus pulled in. She didn't cry. Neither did I. But something unspoken passed between us. Something strong. Something unbreakable. A quiet agreement. That this time, we'd hold on. That this time, we'd fight smarter. That this time, we'd choose each other without conditions. She boarded. I stood at the edge of the sidewalk, heart aching and full, watching her take her seat by the window.
She waved.
I waved back. And even though we were physically apart again, I didn't feel empty. I felt hopeful. Because she came back. And because this time, she promised she wouldn't leave without me. Long-distance love isn't romantic. It's raw. It's waking up to an empty pillow, texting, "I miss you," into a quiet void, counting time zones instead of kisses. But with Rachel, even the hard parts felt like something worth choosing. We didn't go back to how things were. We didn't pretend nothing had happened. Instead, we built something new. We called twice a week, Tuesdays and Sundays, no matter what. We texted in between, not constantly, but intentionally. She'd send me photos of her dorm window at sunset. I'd send her playlists for her walks to class. We started writing letters again. Real, pen-on-paper letters. She said it helped her slow down. I said it made me feel close to her in a way screens couldn't. Every envelope from her smelled like her shampoo. Every word made me ache in the best way. She started signing her letters, "Still yours."
R.
I signed mine, always.
A.
Claire noticed the change in me. "You're lighter," she said one afternoon as we walked through the park. "You're still sad sometimes, but you're also whole." I nodded. "Because she came back." "No," Claire said. "Because you waited, but you didn't stop living. That's what saved you." She was right. I had stopped holding my breath. I let myself enjoy the moments in between. I painted again. I started journaling. I even applied to a writing program, nothing big, just a local thing. But it made me feel like I was building something of my own. Rachel was proud. "I want to read everything you write," she said one night on the phone. "Even your grocery lists." "They're very poetic," I said. "I bet." We laughed. And it didn't feel fragile anymore. In November, she came home for the weekend. Only 3 days. But it felt like a lifetime. We didn't plan anything special. No big reunion. No grand declarations. We spent Friday night on the couch, in sweats, eating popcorn and watching bad TV. Her head was on my chest. My fingers were in her hair. At one point, she looked up and said, "You feel like home." And I realized something. I wasn't waiting for her to come back anymore. Because she was already with me. In how I held myself. In how I spoke. In how I loved.
She was a part of me now.
Not as a fantasy or a memory, but as a presence. And that was more powerful than any kiss. Still, when we did kiss, it meant something different. Not desperate. Not urgent. Just complete. Like an echo returning to its source. On Sunday, we walked through our old neighborhood. The weather was cold, but she refused to wear gloves. "I need to feel your hand," she said, lacing her fingers through mine. "We used to walk here all the time," I said. "Before." "Yeah," she smiled. When I thought I was straight, I laughed. "You were so bad at pretending. You were so bad at hiding." Touché. She stopped walking. Looked at me. "Can I tell you something scary?" "Always." "I think I want this. Like long-term, real life. You and me." My heart stuttered. Yeah, she said. "I don't know what it'll look like. I don't know what school I'll transfer to next year, or what my major will be, or where we'll live. But I know I want you in the picture." "I've always been in the picture," I said. "Even when you were trying not to see me." "I see you now," she whispered. "And I'm not looking away again." Before she left, we stood in the middle of my bedroom, arms wrapped around each other. "Promise me something," she said. "Anything. That you'll keep being you, even when I'm not next to you." "I promise." "And you'll tell me the hard stuff?" "Always." "And you'll still love me when I don't know what I'm doing?" "That's when I'll love you most." She kissed me slow, deep, like she was breathing me in one last time before the next stretch of distance. When she pulled back, her eyes were full but steady. "I love you, Alex." "I love you too, Rachel." And this time, when she left, I didn't feel hollow. I felt certain. Because for the first time since this all began, we weren't surviving love. We were living it. It was spring again when Rachel came home for good. The trees were just starting to bloom, the air smelled like wet grass and beginnings, and I swear, the sky looked different the day I saw her walking toward me with a suitcase in one hand and a key in the other. "You're here," I said, stunned, breath caught somewhere between disbelief and relief. "I'm here," she smiled, cheeks flushed, eyes brighter than I remembered. "And I'm not leaving this time." She dropped her bag, stepped forward, and kissed me like the past year had only been an intermission. Her hands in my hair, my arms around her waist, both of us laughing against each other's mouths. "You smell the same," she said, "like acrylic paint and spearmint. You smell like home." "That's because I am," she whispered. Rachel transferred to a university closer to mine. We moved into a small apartment above a bookstore with creaky floors, cracked windows, and a kitchen the size of a closet. But it was ours. The first morning, we ate cereal on the floor, the fridge humming behind us, sunlight pouring through the curtains like some kind of cinematic cliché. She looked at me over her spoon. "We really did it. We really did. You ever think we'd make it here? Honestly?"
No.
"Me neither." And then she smiled like she was proud of us. Like we hadn't just survived everything. We had earned this. Being together full-time wasn't always perfect. We fought over laundry, over schedules, over who forgot to buy toilet paper. We had bad days. Stressful nights. But even on the hard days, I never questioned the love. Because the way she reached for me when we argued, the way she always said sorry first, even when it was my fault, the way she kissed my forehead before bed, no matter what, that was the kind of love I used to dream about. She started painting again, filling our walls with color. I wrote stories, poems, messy diary entries about loving a girl who used to think she was straight and now laughed when she remembered that version of herself. "She was in love with you," Rachel said one night, pointing at an old picture of us in high school. She just didn't know how to say it yet. She was scared.
"So scared," she nodded.
"But God, she loved you so much. And now Now she knows better. We visited her mom once a month. She cried the first time we arrived holding hands, but she smiled through the tears. He still hasn't called, she told Rachel one night. But I hope one day he does. And I hope he sees what I see. What's that? Rachel asked. That you're happy. And that's all I ever wanted for you. Rachel squeezed my hand under the table, and I squeezed back. The proposal wasn't grand. It wasn't filmed. It didn't involve a sunset or a violin or some public scene. It happened on a Tuesday, in the middle of folding laundry, when Rachel dropped a sock, looked up at me, and said, "Will you marry me?" I blinked. Seriously? Yeah. You don't have a ring. I don't care. You're in pajamas. Still don't care. You haven't even made the bed. You are literally ruining your own proposal right now, she said, laughing, but her eyes were glassy full. Alex, I love you. I've loved you since before I knew how to love you. And I want to spend the rest of my life folding laundry with you, okay? So please, say yes before I melt into a gay puddle on this carpet. I kissed her before I even answered. And then I said yes. Of course I said yes. We got married 2 years later in my mom's backyard. Claire cried the entire time. Rachel wore white. I wore a deep forest green. We both said, I do, like we were breathing for the first time. Her vows made me cry. Mine made her laugh. We slow danced barefoot in the grass under fairy lights. And later, when it was just the two of us, shoes off, cake on our faces, wine on our lips, she looked at me and whispered, I can't believe this is our life. Believe it. You know what I used to think? What? That being with you would cost me everything. And now I know it gave me everything. And then we kissed. Long, slow, forever. And when she pulled away, she smiled and said, still yours. And I said, always. If you enjoyed this content and want to support the channel in a special way, try clicking the thanks button below. It's the one with the heart and $sign icon. With super thanks, you can make a direct contribution to the channel, which helps me keep creating awesome videos for you.